Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm good morning to all of you. I'm Neha Tiwari, and on behalf of NIT University, it is my privilege to welcome you all to the 10th Convocation ceremony. I wish you and your families my personal best for your health and safety in these difficult times. It is the momentous occasion for the university and our graduates as well. Because of this unprecedented situation, we are unable to welcome you all in person at the campus and share and cherish this special moment with you. But we must respond to this difficult situation decisively, innovatively, and together. So, this is for the first time we are broadcasting this convocation ceremony where you will see the virtual avatars of all the graduates receiving their degrees and medallions using virtual reality. You will be experiencing this one of its sorts technological marvel and celebrate this occasion of glory and achievement with us. I have the honor of inviting the Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Nandan Nilekani, Chairman and Co-founder Infosys, Mr. Rajendra Singh Pawar, Founder NIIT University, Mr. Vijay Thadani, Co-founder NIIT University, and Professor Prabhu Agarwal, President NIIT University, to grace the occasion and bless our graduates. As said by Sri Rabindranath Tagore, and I quote, "The highest education is that which does not merely give us information but makes our life in harmony with all existence." Unquote. Indeed, this also resonates with the vision of NIIT University, which is to be a role model of learning, research, innovation, and sustainability. We take immense pride in our students' success, and it's gratifying to bestow them with the degrees of honors. To mark the auspicious beginning of the ceremony, let us pay tribute to Ma Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. May I now call upon Professor Prabhu Agarwal, Professor Parimal Manke, and General A.K. Singh to light the lamp.
Ma Saraswati Sharide, Ma Saraswati Sharide, Purnish Agyan Udadise, Purnish Agyan Udadise, Veera Pani Taride, 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 Ma Saraswati Sharide, Ma Saraswati Sharide. Surya Shiva Vishnu ka janam, jin charanam ko sevate ho. Surya Brahma Shiva Vishnu ka janam, jin charanam ko sevate. हम शिशु हैं अज्ञानी माता, इन चरणों का प्यार दे, मेरा पानी तार दे, तार दे, तार दे, माँ सरस्वती शारदे, माँ सरस्वती शारदे. मूर्ख हम नहीं जाने जननी, पूजन वंदन ज्ञान को. मूर्ख हम नहीं जाने जननी, पूजन वंदन ध्यान को आदि शक्ति कर क्षमा हमें आदि शक्ति कर क्षमा हमें पूजा के दिलदार दे मेरा पानी तार दे तार दे तार दे माँ सरस्वती शारदे माँ सरस्वती शारदे माँ सरस्वती शारदे माँ सरस्वती शारदे.
Thank you, music team, for such a melodious rendition. I have the honor of inviting our founder, Mr. Rajendra Singh Pawar, to deliver the welcome address.
A very good morning to all of you, and a very hearty welcome to our graduating students and their families, to many of our friends and well-wishers, and of course, to our chief guest, Nandan Nilekani, who will deliver the convocation address. So let me start by saying that these are indeed unprecedented times. COVID has put a spin on everything around us, and we have to recognize the seriousness of the situation. But before we embark on looking at the positive side, we start with this convocation. It would just be appropriate to spare a few minutes to think about the challenges that face a very large percentage of our fellow Indians. So while the top 10%, 130 million or so, which includes all of us, will go past this with some difficulty and come out okay on the other side, there are at least about a third, 400 to 500 million people, who are facing great difficulty at this time and will continue to have this difficulty. So appeal to all of you as young graduates is be mindful of the difficulties they are bearing and do whatever you can as you move ahead in life. Now, these unprecedented times are also creating a very important inflection point. So we're all at an inflection point. NU is at an inflection point, and all of us, particularly all of you young students, are at an inflection point. So let me talk about these. The plus points in this inflection point for NU are many. I'll touch on some. The first one is that in our 11th year, having done our 10 years, we now have a new Chancellor, Padma Vibhushan, Dr. Kasturi Rangan. He takes over from Dr. Karan Singh, our founding Chancellor, who spent 10 years in guiding us and giving us deep philosophical foundations, his being one of the greatest living philosophers of the world at this time. And of course, we now have one of the foremost scientists of India, Dr. Kasturi Rangan, to guide us as we move into our second decade. And as all of you know, he is also the author of the very important National Education Policy 2020. So we have the great advantage of direct guidance and input from him. The second aspect of this inflection point is the National Education Policy 2020, which was announced recently. And for all of us at NU, it in a sense vindicates the beliefs on which NU was created. So the four core principles, for example, are a case in point, which are to be industry-linked, to be a benchmark of being industry-linked, technology-based, research-driven, and seamless. And in our 10 years plus, we've already started giving strong evidence of success on some core principles. So industry-linked, the evidence is the placement that our students are getting year after year, including this year. Technology-based, well, right from the process of admission through to delivery of learning and the very important semester of industry practice is all technology-based, has been for a while, and that is standing us in very good stead. And that finds a very important mentions in the NEP. So in a sense, NEP validates many things we already started out with and gives us the opportunity to become an exemplar of all that the policy embodies. The third point during this inflection point is we have a new vice chancellor or president, as we call it. Prabhu Agarwal joined us recently, and he's a bright graduate from IIT Kanpur, who did his master's and PhD at the University of Washington in Seattle, spent about 20 years teaching in different universities in the US before he came to India a little over 5 years ago and contributed to the higher education scenario. Now, I do know that all of you graduating Newtons have not had the chance to meet him because he joined only 4 months ago, but I'm sure you will see him when you meet him whenever you visit us again, and of course, online. And the fourth point, why this point in our history is an inflection point, not just for NU, but for India in education, is that in the last 15 odd years and the next about 15 years, in this window of about 25 to 30 years, we are seeing the creation of what I believe will be seen as the Ivy Leagues of Indian higher education, with initiatives coming from philanthropists from very, many different sectors of India. And among all these new universities, I would say the only one which is backed and started off by people who've been in education since 1982 is NU, and it augurs very well. So for NU, this is an important period of inflection, an important inflection point. At a personal level, and I want to spend a couple of minutes, these last 8 months have been quite unusual, both in terms of challenges, but also I think in terms of where I have focused my energies. And this has been a time, and I'm sure it's true for many of us, to think deeply and to act differently. In terms of thinking deeply, I personally have spent an extraordinary amount of time reading and thinking about how we think, how we remember, and most importantly, how we learn. And this focus, of course, is central to everything we do at NIIT and to the research and innovation that we are doing in NU. In terms of acting differently for me personally, I have used a bulk of the commuting time that I've saved in spending time in something I've always wanted to do, but couldn't get the time, and that is in the garden, and that is with nature. And two interesting things came back as important experiences and important lessons. The first, that while all of us went into a lockdown and we were all locked up, nature got a free run. And it's amazing to see how quickly it responded and how it rebounded. The air became clear within days and weeks. And I have been amazed that my garden has never been as green and lush as it is in these last few months. In fact, the roses were there till the month of August. The second thing which I observed about nature didn't come as a surprise, but the magnitude of it did, that the little bit of time and effort that I spent in the garden, whether it was in pruning the plants, in preparing the ground for the next crop, in finding the right seeds, putting the right amount of water and fertilizer at the right time, I've seen that the output and the production has been at least 3 times as much as it has been in normal times. And the lesson there is that nature is very graceful and bountiful. It takes very little, but gives us a lot more in return. And those are lessons which I'm sure all of us will imbibe, and that will help us solve many problems of the world as you go about it personally. But of course, we are here to look at the inflection point for all of you, our young graduating Newtons. In any case, graduation is an inflection point. after 3 or 4 years in the cocoon of the home, you spend 12 years in a rather protected environment full of rules in school. And then the last 4 years, you spent in a more liberal environment, somewhat defined, but this is the time when you made new friends, you challenged everything, you challenged authorities, you challenged other people's ideas, broadened your horizon, and got ready for this next important step in your life, the point of inflection, which is to move from the world of study to the world of work. And as you get into this move, it's also happening at this unprecedented time. And unprecedented times are like a glass which is half empty and half full. Half empty is the challenges, but half full is all the passion, the competence, the capability, and the initiative, and most importantly, the courage that you have an opportunity to show at this time. Now, we know that all of you are pioneers and risk takers. After all, your parents and you decided to come and spend the most important 4 years of your life in terms of growth at a new university. So you are risk takers. And these unprecedented times are especially opportune for risk takers. So as you get ready to cross over from the world of study into the world of work, I want to wish you well, and I want each of you to express the best that you have in you and take advantage of these difficult times and come out successful. The fact that you did so in your industry practice and held on to the job that you have is already great evidence to do so. So once again, I wish you well, and I welcome you all to this very important event to mark the inflection point in this convocation for our young graduates. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. May I now request our President, Professor Prabhu Agarwal, Chairman, Academic Council, to declare the convocation open.
I now declare a new convocation 2020 open.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Professor Sudeep Sanyal, Dean Engineering, to present the candidate for the award of the Doctor of Philosophy degree. I request the Honorable Chairman, Academic Council, Professor Prabhu Agarwal, to confer the degree to the respective degree recipient.
Sir, I have the honor to present to you the candidate to whom I know to be suitable as much by character as by learning, and having successfully completed the necessary requirement for the award of degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Electronics and Communication Engineering, and pray that he may be awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Electronics and Communication Engineering.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Act as the Chairman of the Academic Council of NIIT University, and in recognition of your being found suitable as much by character as by learning, and having successfully completed the necessary requirements for the degree of the Doctor of Philosophy, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and require you that in thought, word, and action, you prove yourself worthy of it.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the graduation ceremony for the students for the degree programs in BTech Computer Science and Engineering, Electronics and Communication Engineering, Masters of Technology in GIS, Masters of Design in Learning Design, Master of Business Administration in Business Analytics, and Master of Business Administration in Intelligent Data Science. The ceremony is now live in 10 virtual rooms where the avatars of students are receiving their degrees in the virtual world in real time. We are happy to announce that 298 students are graduating in this 10th convocation ceremony of NIIT University.
I request the Honorable Chairman, Academic Council, Professor Prabhu Agarwal, to confer the degrees to the respective degree recipients.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Act as the Chairman of the Academic Council of NIIT University, and in recognition of you being suitable as much by character as by learning and having successfully completed the necessary requirements for the award of the degree of Bachelor of Technology, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Technology and require you that in thought, word, and action you prove yourself worthy of it.
May I now request Professor Debashish Sen Gupta to present the candidate for the award of the Bachelor of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering.
Sir, I have the honor to present to you the candidates, 153 who were present and 42 in absentia, to whom I know to be suitable as much by character as by learning, and having successfully completed the necessary requirements for the award of the degree of Bachelor of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering, and pray that they may be awarded the degree of Bachelor of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering. Bhatta Maraju Srihari Ajay Sharma, Katpalli Avinab Reddy, Atukuri Srinath, Ankit Kumar Singh, Anubhav Paul, Ashish Best, Viren Sharma, Aman Khandelwal, C. Rohit, C.H. Paban Sai, Chandanala Sivanaga Pravin, Chimakurti Venkatanaga Sai Kaushik, Deepak Atreja, Ajinkya Vedekar, Arpita Sejal, Chinju Mary George, Deepika Tripathi, Arsita Batra, Arya Mahallawat, Avijit Singh,
Let the oath be administered. Now, I would like to call upon Dr. Vikas Upadhyay to lead the oath.
Please repeat after me. I hereby pledge that
I hereby pledge that
I will constantly endeavor
I will constantly endeavor
to be honest and upright in the discharge of my duties. I will uphold the dignity of the individual and the integrity of the profession. I will utilize my knowledge and learning for the glory of an IIT university and for the service of the country and mankind at large. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Upadhyay. I have the honor of inviting our co-founder, Mr. Vijay Thadani, to formally welcome our chief guest, Dr. Nandan Nilekani, for his address.
My dear graduating Newtons, parents, members of the NU board, ladies and gentlemen, let me add my heartiest congratulations to the graduating Newtons on this unique milestone in their life's journey. The world is currently characterized, as Raji said, by maximum volatility, uncertainty, and complexity that humankind has experienced thus far. While your contemporaries elsewhere may be nervous, I'm confident that you are looking forward to the prospect of traversing the journey ahead of you, solidly backed by the repertoire of diverse competencies that you developed at this university. No wonder you're called Newtons. On this end, the campus will miss you. The tree that you planted and nurtured will miss you. In short, we will all miss you. Despite the many constraints, we tried to make today's moments as real as the technology permitted. Hope you enjoy and cherish these, including when, through your virtual avatar, will interact in real time with your buddies. We wish we were able to get you to experience the fresh air of the campus, the clear blue sky, the fragrances of the flowers, the taste of your favorite foods, and the warmth of our handshakes and hugs. Guess that will have to wait till we get to welcome you physically at the campus. I promise we certainly will at the next available opportunity. To the parents, our heartfelt gratitude and congratulations to you. What you are experiencing is primarily the result of the values you inculcated, the constant encouragement you provided, the sacrifices you made, and the sleepless nights that you went through. Most of all, we are grateful to you for the trust you placed in NIT University by sharing your most precious possession with us. You gave us shy boys and girls, and today we are returning back to you confident young men and women who are determined to rebuild this world. And now to the moment that you've all been waiting for. It's my proud privilege to present to you an accomplished entrepreneur, a tech visionary, an institution builder par excellence, a dreamer who, having realized many of his dreams, is now impatient to help his countrymen realize theirs. And above all, an illustrious individual and a wonderful human being who has contributed immensely to the public life. These are some of the descriptions which he wears lightly on his shoulders. He is Nandan Nilekani. Nandan graduated in electrical engineering from the prestigious IIT Bombay and is currently the co-founder and chairman of Infosys Technologies Limited. From 2009 to 2014, he was the founding chairman of the Unique Identification Authority of India, UIDAI, responsible for the world's largest individual identity initiative, the Aadhaar card, in the rank of a cabinet minister. He also co-founded NASSCOM when India's IT sector was in infancy, as well as the Bangalore chapter of the Indus Entrepreneurs TIE. Nandan is president of National Council of Applied Economic Research, a premier independent applied economics research institute in India. Most recently, Nandan co-founded and is the chairman of EkStep, a not-for-profit effort to create a learner-centric, technology-based platform to improve basic literacy and numeracy for millions of children. There are many awards, acknowledgements, and accolades that Nandan has to his credit. I will enumerate just a few. Fortune magazine conferred him with the Asia's Businessman of the Year 2003. In 2006 and 2009, Time magazine listed him as one of the 100 most influential people in the world. He was also named Businessman of the Year by Forbes Asia. In 2006, he was awarded one of India's highest civilian honors, the coveted Padma Bhushan. And most recently, in 2019, his own alma mater, IIT Bombay, awarded him the Doctor of Science honoris causa. Nandan is a serial investor, having invested in more than 12 startups till date, giving the much needed fillip to the startup system. As has been said, brilliance is a gift you have, but kindness is a choice you make. In 2017, Nandan and his wife Rohini decided to donate half of their wealth to Giving Pledge, a movement caused by Bill Gates to encourage wealthy people to contribute a majority of their wealth to philanthropic causes. Nandan has authored 2 books, Imagining India, a book about the power of ideas, drawing from the India's past and the exciting opportunities in the times to come, along with a roadmap for resurgent India. His second book has been co-authored with Viral Shah, a computer scientist, is titled Rebooting India, Realizing a Billion Aspirations. My dear graduating Newtons, as you stand at the cusp of a new beginning in your life, I'm sure Nandan's experiences will touch the deepest recesses of your heart and mind and reinforce the thought processes that you developed at NU. Nandan is truly a role model to all. Not too long ago, mothers used to tell their children, "Jaldi so ja, nahi to gabbar aa jayega." In the coming times, you can expect to hear a mother say, "Beta, dil lagakar mehnat karna, tumhe Nandan banna hai." Ladies and gentlemen, may I now present to you Mr. Nandan Mohan Nilekani.
Good morning, and Vijay, thank you very much for that wonderful introduction, and I'm grateful to you and Raji for inviting me for this great convocation of NIIT University. You truly represent the university of the future, and in the short time of 11 years, NIIT University has become one of the most respected and established universities in India. So it's really a privilege and honor for me to be speaking to all the young graduates today. Obviously, as both of you mentioned, these are extremely volatile times, extremely complex times, where economies, societies, businesses have been disrupted by this once-in-a-100-year pandemic. And this had effect on our personal lives because we cannot travel, we have to work from home. It has had an effect on business lives, companies have been affected. It has had an impact on societies and caused more inequality. And countries have to deal with this and are often not able to cope as they have waves and waves of COVID pandemics coming again and again. But I always believe that one should look at the future with confidence. One should look at the future with hope. One should look at the future with optimism. And I think all of you are extraordinarily lucky because of the fabulous education you have got at NIIT University, which has well prepared you for the future. Because in some sense, the future is going to be driven by technology. One of the lessons we have learned in this pandemic is the acceleration of digital technology. Most people believe that digital transformation of businesses, governments, societies, individuals, which would have taken months, if not decades, is now happening in a matter of weeks. We can see this in this very event, our convocation, where all of us are using a product that we didn't know about a year back. We're all on Zoom and doing this virtual convocation. You're going to get your degrees from virtual avatars. So clearly, this is a big change in the way we conduct events, whether it's a convocation, whether it's a convention, whether it's a conference, it's all being done virtually. This is also a time when there's been a rapid acceleration of e-commerce. As people are unwilling to go out of the house, they are getting stuff delivered to them. And in India and elsewhere, the e-commerce has grown dramatically as people get delivery done at home. The same thing is happening in food, where food is getting delivered at home because people are scared to go to restaurants. All this is possible because of digital technology. Just imagine if this pandemic had hit us 20 years back when we did not have the internet and we did not have phones. It would have been so much more difficult for us to conduct our work and our business. But at least those of us who have digitally powered work and life can use technology. At the same time, what this pandemic has shown us is the inequality between those whose lives and professions are able to be operated digitally and those whose lives and professions were in proximity. So if your job is a IT professional, a cyber security expert, a data analytics expert sitting at home, you can do all the work that sitting at home on your computer. But if your job is working in a restaurant, working in a hotel, working in the tourism industry, all those jobs have been severely crippled because people are not going out to eat, people are not traveling, people are not taking holidays. And therefore, we have a complete, what's called as a K-shaped recovery, where those whose lives and work can be digitally done are doing well for themselves. And those whose lives and work has to be done in physical world, in proximity to other human beings, they are hugely affected. And so in some sense, this pandemic has exacerbated and increased the inequalities in our society. So all of you are lucky in that sense, because the profession that you have chosen of technology and all the other things are going to become not only possible to function in a pandemic where you can't meet too many people, they're actually going to prosper because of the acceleration of digitization around the world. And we're seeing that across the world among companies who work in the digital space, that there's a huge growth happening because of this. So you will benefit from that as you graduate, and the life skills and technical skills you learned at NIT University will come in very handy as you go forward. It's also very important to realize that because of the acceleration of change, we need to be in constant learning mode. Today, it's not about just the education you got here and using that education to perform a job. Tomorrow, you will have to be in a continuous learning mode for the entire career, because new things will emerge, new trends will emerge, new business opportunities will emerge, new models will emerge. There'll be a rapid shift in technology. There'll be events like pandemics and climate change, which will have discontinuities. So we will have to be very, very agile in the way we deal with the world. We have to be ready for constant change. We have to be ready to learn new things. We have to be ready to embrace new things. And I believe that the fantastic education that all of you have got at NIT University has prepared you for that. And therefore, I would like you to enter the world and your life and career. It's a very, very critical time. But if you enter that with zest and optimism and courage, I'm sure all of you will do very well. I remember the time that all of us graduated from our colleges, Mr. Pawar and Mr. Tharani, IIT Delhi, I came out of IIT Bombay, and all of us became entrepreneurs and worked together to create a big industry of technology and education. And I think we had gone through many, many hurdles, many, many discontinuities. At those times, you couldn't even get a leased line to operate your remote offshore capabilities. But we were able to go through that because we had that sense of confidence about the future. So even when the future was looking dark, we were able to go ahead with confidence, and that has always helped us to be ahead of the game. And so I think the same thing would apply to you. We're also fortunate in India that we have been a country, a leader in digital transformation by building technology at population scale. Because apart from my career at Infosys, as Vijay mentioned, I also worked in the government for 5 years to build the world's largest digital identity program using biometric deduplication, Aadhaar. And Aadhaar has been very fundamental to many of the transformations happening in India. First of all, it has given every Indian, especially the millions of Indians who didn't have birth certificates, some ID that they could use digitally anywhere they could use that. And that has become all the more relevant in a pandemic, because if you want to verify somebody's identity today, you can do that remotely using his digital identity. As part of Aadhaar, we also built the world's largest cash transfer system called the Aadhaar Payment Bridge, which linked Aadhaar to a bank account. So today we have 1.25 billion people with Aadhaar and over 700 million people who have an Aadhaar-linked bank account. And billions of dollars, hundreds and thousands of crores, is being electronically transferred in real time into these accounts. And this is one of the world's most advanced direct transfer systems. And this again came in very handy during the pandemic, because in the early months of the pandemic, one of the things the government did with dealing with the challenge of unemployment and migrants going back home was to send emergency financing to millions of vulnerable Indians. And they did that using the Aadhaar Payment Bridge and directly transferred money into people's bank accounts, which nowhere else in the world they could do at the scale we did. And on the other side, as part of the Aadhaar system, we had something called the Aadhaar-enabled payment system, which allowed somebody in a village to go to a neighborhood business correspondent, use their Aadhaar number, and do an authentication and withdraw money from their bank account. And it is this combination of Aadhaar Payment Bridge, which put money into the account, and the Aadhaar-enabled payment system, which allowed the people to withdraw money, that we were able to transfer, India was able to transfer money to millions of Indians in a matter of 24 hours. And that system in the month of May and June, at the height of the challenges, did 400 million transactions each month, the Aadhaar-enabled payment system, which means 100 to 150 million Indians in villages were able to get their money. So this shows the power of technology and applying technology to India's big challenges. Another big example of that is the UPI payment system, which again is one of the most advanced payment systems in the world, built by NPCI, where I'm an advisor. That system is now growing dramatically because it allows contactless payments, it allows remote payments, and all these things become very useful in a pandemic. And today that system is capable, it has last month did 1.8 billion transactions. And there are many other exciting things coming on the horizon. We have a system for account aggregators, which allows people to use their own data to get access to healthcare or to loans or to education. And this is going to be a key part of the economic recovery, because if we want India's economy to recover, we have to provide financial access and credit to millions of small businesses. And that will only happen by leveraging their digital footprints. And that will only happen using the account aggregator framework. For example, the 11 million businesses who are on the GST system can now use their tax returns and their invoice details to get access to loans. And so the economic recovery that we are going to see post-COVID, a lot of that will be enabled thanks to the technologies that India has designed at population scale. Another example of the technology built for the country is the FASTag system. I don't know whether your people have seen that, but fundamentally, the FASTag system is a RFID tag, which is attached to every vehicle. And attached to that RFID tag is a digital payment instrument, either a wallet or a bank account. And the idea being that when you go through a toll highway, then you automatically debit that wallet or bank account, and you don't have to stop. And again, it's contactless. You don't have to take out cash and hand it to some guy and all that. And today, the FASTag system is the heart of the improvements in the highways, where people are able to clear the toll gates very quickly because they don't have to wait and stop and give money. So that again is an example. That works all over the country. It does hundreds of millions of transactions. And that again is not just for highway tolling. You can use that for parking charges. You can use it in the cities for charging for parking. You can use it for congestion charges. You can say that if people come to Connaught Place in the middle of the day, then they have to pay a fee to come in, and you can use that using this RFID tag. So these are all, what are examples of platforms that we have built in India, which is leveraging the brain power and technology capability of Indians to create some truly world-class solutions. And now we need to think about the same thing in the context of this pandemic. I know that you are doing many things at NIT, including having a quarantine facility. But the biggest challenge that India will face, if we have to get out of this pandemic once and for all, the only way we can do that is by vaccinating a large number of people with vaccines to the point that the spread of the disease dies down. And then we can slowly start our lives getting back to normal. So vaccinating people, if not the entire population, a large part of the population is going to be a big challenge and a big task ahead of us. And doing that well is very important if we are going to get the economy and society and our jobs and our lives back to normal. Now, we don't know which vaccines will work. Never in the world global history have so many companies and so many research labs worked on vaccinations using so many different technologies. So we're seeing an innovation explosion happening today in the area of vaccines. And we already have about 10 or 12 of them, I think, currently in phase 3 trials. And so over the next 6 to 9 months, we will see which vaccines work, how efficient, efficacious, what is their efficacy? Do they actually give you immunity? Whether you need 1 dose or 2 doses, how long will the immunity last? Do you have to give them a vaccine every year, like a flu vaccine, or every 6 months, or every 2 years? Are there any side effects that we have to think about? So over the next 6 to 9 months, as these vaccines enter the world, we are going to see a dramatic explosion of vaccine possibilities. And this is going to come from all over. We have three or four Chinese companies which have already started vaccinating outside China, in the UAE, in Dubai, and all that. You have the Russian vaccine Sputnik, and they have a second vaccine. You have vaccines from America, vaccines from Europe, Germany, UK. So the whole world is working together because this is a challenge for the whole world. And I'm confident that in the next 6 to 9 months, we will have enough vaccines which will deliver efficacious results for vaccinating our people. And the good news for us in India is that India is the vaccine manufacturing capital of the world. We have companies, we have at least 10 companies that manufacture vaccines, the largest being Serum Institute, the world's largest vaccine manufacturer that can do over 1 billion vaccinations production in a year. And these guys are now tying up with the global vaccines to bring vaccines to India. So India is unique in that sense among the developing countries that they have this huge vaccine manufacturing capability. And even if some of these vaccines are manufactured and delivered, sent abroad, a lot of them will be used in India. And the government estimates that by between January and June of 2021, maybe about 200 million people will get vaccines from all the different vaccines being made in India by companies like Serum, Bharat Biologically, and many Zydus. There's so many companies doing it. But again, if you want to deliver those vaccines safely and effectively, we need a digital orchestration. We need to think about how do we create the digital backbone so that we can do 10 million vaccinations a day. And that those vaccinations may happen in government hospitals, private hospitals, pharmacies, clinics, dentist chairs, it could be anywhere. And we have to think of an ecosystem which can deliver maybe 10 million vaccinations a day. We need to create a system to train 200,000 people to vaccinate, because India does not have a history of adult vaccination. Unlike the West, if you look at America, half the population gets a flu vaccine every year. So the 330 million people in the US, about 165 million people get flu vaccine every year. So they already know how to give adults vaccines. But we don't have that experience because the entire Indian vaccine business is for child immunization. So we don't really have adult vaccination expertise. And when you give to adults, it's not just about putting the needle into their arm. It's also about counseling them, making them feel confident, making them feel safe. So there are a lot of behavioral things that you have to do. And in addition, because these vaccines are going to be very new and they're going to be scaled up very quickly, many of them are going to have unexpected negative side effects. So you have to educate the person to getting the vaccine that there are potential side effects. And if they see those side effects, they have to report that either by phone or by telling someone or by using an app. So vaccination is going to be a specialty exercise, and we'll need 200,000 people to do these vaccines. And which vaccine we work with, don't know. So we have to have a very dynamic system where we can choose, we can discontinue some vaccines, bring in some new vaccines, and so on. And this is all about digital orchestration. How do we make sure that we deliver it anytime, anywhere, properly? And I believe that's, again, another area where all of us, all of you can participate, because these are the big challenges that we face. Every month we reduce for vaccinating India safely has a huge impact on our economy, on our society, on jobs, on the recovery. And therefore, this is a national issue to make sure that we vaccinate well. And I do believe that you're already active in many of the things regarding COVID, like quarantining and so on. And I believe you can bring that same expertise to the vaccination and be a participant and an ally in what's going to happen, because it's only by using technology smartly, effectively, technology for good, that India can come out of it. And all of us who are trained in technology and believe that technology is a force for good have to come together to make this happen. So once again, I want to first of all thank Mr. Pawar, Mr. Tharani for inviting me. It's wonderful to be at the NIT Convocation. Raji has been calling me for a couple of years, but this time we were able to do it virtually. But it's great, and I do believe that you're entering the world at a very difficult time. At the same time, it is going to be a time of unprecedented opportunity, and all of you have to seize the moment, get over the hurdles and adversity, and carve out a great life for yourself. So all the best, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. I request the Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Nandan Nilekani, to award the Dr. Karan Singh Gold Medal to the position holders. Ronald Tony, for standing first in Bachelor of Technology 2016 batch. Joydeep Datta, for standing first in Master of Technology in Geographic Information System 2018 batch. Mishra, for standing first in Master of Design in Learning Design 2018 batch. Sunaina Bansi, for standing first in Master of Business Administration in Intelligent Data Science 2018 batch. I would like to announce that the Ram Rajendra Malhotra Medal 2020 goes to the all-rounder graduating student of Bachelor of Technology, Mr. Shreyas Ashwin Sangvi, 2016 batch. Thank you, sir. I would like to request Professor Prabhu Agarwal, President, NIT University, to propose the vote of thanks.
Honorable Chief Guest of the Convocation Ceremony, Dr. Nandan Nilekani, Founder of NIT University, Mr. R.S. Pawar, Co-founder, Mr. Vijay Tadani, members of the Board of Management, distinguished guests, graduating students, faculty, staff, and all parents who are watching us. It is my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks at the 10th Convocation of NIT University. Before I do that, I would like to place on record our sincere gratitude for the convocation address delivered by Dr. Nilekani, which in many ways will be embedded in all our future plans of the university and provide a moral compass to our students when venturing into uncharted waters. Listening to your experiences, Nandan, and so many important topics that you talked about, a few things struck me. The one thing that struck me is your deep and sincere caring for the large population of India and mostly the underprivileged. And your understanding of the problems that unless we include them in all our solutions, India as a nation will never be able to realize its full potential. You have led from the front to create solutions at population scale, which is remarkable. And you have left us with a challenge again to recreate, or not recreate, but create technology solutions or digital solutions again at population scale if we have to come back to some sense of normalcy, and that's through finding a way to effectively vaccinate India's vast population, which, as you have pointed out to us, is possible only if it is digital technology driven. And I would ask all NU graduating students who mostly mostly worked in the technology area, to take this as a calling if we are really serious about doing something about getting back to some sense of normalcy. So I really think that, Nandan, you have left us with a deep thought and a path forward, given us hope of how to get out of this pandemic as a nation, and shown us reasonable ideas of what we should all focus on. So I had the privilege of reading your book, Imagining India, which is a treasure trove of ideas and an in-depth analysis of the 21st century of India. I would recommend this book to all my graduating students. Please, if you can grab a copy of it, it is an amazing read. As we are all aware, in India, we are going to have job creation as a requirement, which will continue to remain one of the most important issues. And again, if I think about it, given the fact that people like you have always led from the front this idea of entrepreneurship and job creation, again, we are so blessed to have you amongst us. Thanks again for your inspiring words, sir. I really appreciate it. And before I again embark on a more formal vote of thanks, I do want to really talk about a few observations I have. I have only been at NU for about 4 months. And a few things have stood out to me. I mean, the number one thing that I have to talk about is the fact that this institute's tenacity to respond is amazing. In 4 months, we have been able to beat back, I won't use the word beat back, but completely adapted all standard operating procedures for reopening of campus. We have communicated and connected with our communities. We have fed some, I would say, for 100 days, 500 meals a day to migrant workers. We have embarked upon what is called Project Nimrana, Arogya Nimrana, which was to build a 100-bed COVID facility for the city in record time. So I know the amount of tenacity this institute has really touched my heart, and it's not just words. It's something we have, one of our core principles of seamlessness, and this just tells me that whatever is being said about this university is really acted upon. The other thing is, and I think many of you have alluded to this, is the fact of how technology has been at the backbone of NU and what technology has meant to us from the very beginning. From the day the lockdown started, we were seamlessly transitioning to a technology platform, whether it was admissions, whether it was online teaching, learning through our indigenously developed a new digital platform, whether it was getting all our graduating students jobs in this difficult time. By the way, I'm very proud to announce that 100% of our students have been placed. And again, I congratulate the IT and tech teams and the faculty and staff for this amazing achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, we at NU have always followed our 4 core principles, which is technology-based, research-driven, industry links, and seamlessness, to drive our curriculum and teaching learning processes since the inception of this university, which was 10 years ago. Focusing on these core principles have helped our students to be ready for future jobs in the tech space, have fostered research through innovation and entrepreneurship, leading to successful startups, get exposure to real-world problems through the industry practice program, and ensure a more holistic education through seamless blending of liberal arts and the ability to customize a significant percentage of their academic curriculum. Many of these thoughts have been validated in a ways in the new education policy that was recently drafted, the NEP 2020, and we feel vindicated. Lastly, and listening to Mr. Pawar, Mr. Tanani, Mr. Nilankani, I think a couple of things is that there is no way to stop learning. You have to be a continuous, lifelong learner. You have to be agile. Disruptions will keep coming. This pandemic will pass. This pandemic will pass, but climate change is around the corner, or some other disruptive event is coming. So the only constant is change. And you as a student, a graduating student, today entering the real world really needs to remain a lifelong learner. And the only way to do that is to remain curious, to question, to re-question the status quo, as it says in the Vedas, Vidhi Pariprashnain, appreciative inquiry. So I will ask all of you, all my graduating students today, as they leave, to think about how will they continue learning, because there is no end to it. I would also take this opportunity to extend a very special thanks on behalf of all of us here at the NU fraternity to the proud parents of the graduating students for the support that they give to the students, especially now that you have spent the last 8 months, 6 months as being part of their learning process. You have been valuable in ensuring their social and mental well-being as much as their academic well-being. I congratulate you on being the proud parents of responsible citizens of the world and bow my head to you. I would also take this opportunity to thank our founders, Mr. Pawar and Mr. Tirani, for playing their part well and having the vision 10 years ago to imagine the university of the future and sticking to their core principles. I have spent 4 months interacting with them, and I have no words to describe the efforts that they put in. Thank you, sirs, for your belief and your efforts. Lastly, we did not want to get away from this convocation without experimenting, innovating. So we went out on a limb to create as much of a physical experience we could on a digital platform through avatars, where the students are currently interacting with other students before the convocation, after the convocation, receiving their degrees. We are about experimenting, and we hope to remain experimenting and always questioning the status quo. For this, my profuse thanks to Mr. Arvind Thakur, who led this project from the front, Mr. Akhilesh Agarwal, again, our IT head, our IT team led by Ashu Dubey, and the entire IIT team who have made this convocation possible. I must tell you that we are going to be stitching together the entire 298 graduating student degrees, and posting a link for all students to enjoy their graduation ceremony in the virtual mode. Last but not least, all this is never possible by one person. It is always a team effort. I am profoundly thankful to my team on campus, Chief Operating Officer, Mr. A.K. Singh, Vice President Parimal Manke, and all the other senior leaders, teams, faculty, administration, who have managed in these extremely trying and difficult times to tide over. And we cannot wait to have to welcome back our students to campus. Hopefully that day is not too far away. Again, I would like to congratulate all the graduating students and remind them very simply to not just be the best in the world, but be the best for the world. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. I would like to request Professor Prabhu Agarwal, President NIIT University, to propose to declare the convocation to be closed.
I declare the NU Convocation 2020 closed.
To conclude, I would once again congratulate all the graduates and wish a successful and bright career ahead. Now, all shall rise for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हो, भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा, द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा, उच्चल जलधि तरंगा, तब शुभ नामे जागे, तब शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाहे सब जय गाथा, जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे, भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे, जय हे, जय हे, जय 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 हे।
With this, we come to the end of the ceremonial proceedings of the day. Thank you all for joining us and gracing the occasion and blessing our graduates. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful time ahead. Stay happy and stay safe. Thank you all. And now we have some very exciting messages for the graduated batch from NU Allens and Junior Newtons.
I'm sure you all must be very, very excited with this. So here's me on behalf of all the alumni of NIIT University, wishing you all the very best for your future. And I welcome you to the other side of responsibilities and a little bit of boredom, but I'm sure this side has its own fun. So welcome, guys. Thank you so much.
I wish all of you the best in your futures. You guys are all fighters and warriors, and given that you have all done so well during these hard times, I'm pretty sure all that is stored in the future for you is nothing but the best. So all the best and congratulations on your graduation.
Thank you so much for being the best mentors, for having our backs, and the amazing NU Starter Pack. We didn't get to know you for long, but if there's something I can say, it is that you guys were the coolest set of super seniors we could have asked for. You'll be missed in the campus.
आपको पता है, कॉलेज में घुसने के बाद अगर किसी चीज का सबसे ज्यादा डर था, तो वो इस बात का था कि मैं आप लोगों को हेलो कैसे बोलूंगा। सीनियर्स जो थे आप, इतने साल बाद आप इतना कुछ सिखाए, इतनी मस्तियां करे, पर ये तो सिखा देते कि आज आपको गुड बाय कैसे बोलना है। आप लोग याद तो देखो बहुत आओगे। एंड आई रियली विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट, एंड वंस अगेन थैंक यू फॉर एवरीथिंग।
There are no goodbyes for us. Wherever you are, you'll always be in our hearts.
Thank you for guiding us always and always, with love and pride, today and always. All the best for your future endeavors.
Goodbye, class of 2020. Hearty congratulations and best wishes to all my seniors for their upcoming journey.
To our mentors, to our gossip sources, to our seniors, to our friends, life with campus wouldn't have been same without you. Thank you for everything, and we will surely miss you all.
Thank you so much for being such lively souls on campus, for being such wonderful people to have around, and we'll surely miss you a lot. Thank you.
3 साल इंट्रो के खौफ में, ज्ञान देने में और मस्ती करने में कब निकल गए पता नहीं चला, और जब फाइनली आप लोगों की याद आ रही है तो आप लोग वापस ही नहीं आ सकते. No matter where life takes us, we'll always cherish these memories with you. All the best for your future.
Ladies and gentlemen, students will now informally interact with their batchmates, mentors, and other nurturers in their respective virtual rooms.